One of my many moments of weakness, recent purchase. I've always wanted well, not always. I've always wanted a folding field camera, and I have my Linhof Technikarten, which is sort of a mishmash studio Carden field camera, Technica camera, which actually works pretty well for portability for 4x5. But this showed up on Craigslist a couple weeks ago, and $300. I couldn't say no. So what we have is this is a Horseman. I believe this is the 980. It might be the 985. I'm not exactly sure. It is it's a press camera, so it's a 980. Actually, it says it right there. It is so rather than 4x5 format, originally it was 2¼ by 3¼ sheet film, but everybody uses roll film backs with it. Same format as 35mm, which is the 2:3 ratio is not my favorite format. In fact, I had a Fuji 6x9 camera, and I sold it many years ago because I just couldn't. I just didn't like that really rectangular format. I much prefer a 4x5 or a 4:3 format. But anyway, that obviously didn't slow me down enough to not buy the camera. But it's a fun little camera, and so this is brand new. I put a couple of rolls of film through it, and the images are surprisingly nice. It's got a nice vintage feel, especially if you shoot black and white. But there's a couple of issues. One of which is I need to set the infinity stops properly. I need to probably give the camera a bit of a clean. And I also need to replace all of the foam in the back because it's all starting to flake off and fall apart. And I was shooting in bright light, and I did have some fogged images. But anyway, so just to sort of give you a little show as to how this works, it actually has a rangefinder in it, and there's a cam that you put in to match the lens to the rangefinder, and it's just a matter of pulling the lens out and setting it to the infinity stops, which are these little bits here on the rail, and then you can hold it up to your eye, and you can actually focus. And it's not a great rangefinder, but it's pretty good. Like even in this fairly dim light, I can focus rather easily, and so which is kind of fun. This lens here is what is it? It's it's a 90mm f 5.6, and I can't remember what they're called. It's kind of a funny name. It just says Horseman on it. This one is a 65mm super. It's funny, I thought. Anyway, they had a funny name, but I can't remember it right now. Anyway, so this is a 65mm, but it's f7, so it's a bit slow, but whatever. Price was right. What can I say? The camera itself is just like a large format field camera. So on the back, you've got your you can pop it up. There's a ground glass. You can focus if you want with a loop, or with your, if you don't want to use your rangefinder, or if you have a lens that doesn't have a rangefinder cam with it, then you have to do it that way. This back will just come off, and then you put on one of your roll film backs, and then you can actually shoot it. Well, not quite like a 35mm camera, but not bad. Then what you do is you just shoot and wind the film, and that's kind of it. It's nice, and it's surprisingly compact, which is what I really like about it. And the optics are great. The image quality is really nice. So far, anyway. But like I say, I need to replace the foam. I need to set the stops. I need to give it a once over, and I need to do some more. I need to do some more testing with it because it's a bit on the new for me side. And certainly, a camera like this, the only way that you get images that you're happy with is if you're really careful and you've had some practice in terms of open the shutter, close the shutter, setting up all the different things so that you don't make any mistakes, because the moment you make a mistake, it ends up fogging something. Either you have too much exposure or not enough exposure. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. This was never any part of my history anyway. I don't think I'd even ever shot with one before. I think this is totally brand new to me. So so far, it's been kind of fun. But like I say, it's going to require some attention to get it where it needs to be so that I can actually take it out and get some shots with it. So step one is to buy the camera and figure out what's wrong with it, and then step two is to fix it and shoot with it. So the Horseman 980, a work in progress. So these folding cameras are actually a fair amount of fun. You can get lens themselves. In fact, you know, like given how compact they are, it's really quite something. You've got rise and fall. You can. What else do we have here? We've got. You can actually tilt both forward and back. You can. If I can just it's like this. There's a little bit of swing. And surprising amount of Scheinflug on these on this camera. I mean, it's and everything is. The other nice thing as well is that there's 0 stops for everything, so you know you don't ever worry about whether or not it's gone back where it originally was. And then of course the other thing you can do is you can actually drop the. If I can get it here, drop the front deck down, so you can also get a little bit more fall, and then you can adjust the camera back from there as well. So it's incredibly versatile. It's one of those incredibly versatile cameras in a rather compact, a really rather compact format. It isn't it's old school, and like I was saying, it needs a bit of attention. But I'm actually looking forward to shooting with it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now let me show you the back if I can. Just turn it around. Just like that, and then there's is the lens open? And there it is. There, lens is open. I don't know if you can see anything there. There's, oh yeah, hands and all that kind of stuff. So but it actually works rather well, and then of course you can fold that up. Oops, fold it up properly, and open the back up itself, so you get a nice view of the ground glass, and you can actually put a loop on it and focus critically if you need to. And then of course the back itself just pops off like that, and on goes one of the roll film backs. And once you get good at it, it's pretty quick to get everything in place and pull your dark slide and just like that and shoot. So it's old school, but it doesn't really take me back because I never shot commercially with these things. This is before my time, but it definitely makes for a fun project, and really not very expensive, which is always the most fun. As I've said before, if you're going to have fun, you might as well do it cheaply. So so far so good on this camera, and I have to say that preliminary results are looking rather favorable in terms of getting nice vintage feel out of these lenses in this camera. So there it is.